Hello everyone, Simon here with a review of Super Amazeballs. Literally jazzy hands as I say that, I can't help it. This is a PSVR title that's also available on other VR platforms. The beauty of this game is that it really evokes quite specific memories from my childhood, which I will now divulge. Basically, as a kid, when I used to get dropped off at play school, there was a couple of toys in play school where you'd have to pick up a maze and tilt it on different directions to move a ball bearing around to try and get the ball bearings into the hole. It also reminds me of a board game called Screwball Scramble, which you used to have to do the same but with little control levers. And Super Amazeballs is essentially that. You've got a ball bearing trapped in a maze of different wires and tracks, and what you're doing is that it's put into a sphere and you use your two VR controllers and move controllers for me with PSVR to basically move the ball around and therefore tilt the whole maze and then move the ball bearing as it goes around. This starts off quite simple to begin with because the tracks have walls, you can see where you're going quite happily and things aren't too overlapping. Then it starts to get more complicated as it no longer has a track with walls, it's just two wires going around, so you have to be really gentle with your actions as you kind of gently tip the maze around so that you can then flick things over. And then when you start to get into the more hardcore and extreme levels, you've got to be really precise because you're tipping and rotating at 180 degrees really quickly, some of the flips that's going on to try and keep the ball bearing on its track. As you're going around doing this, you are moving through different checkpoints, so if you fall off, that is perfectly fine, you'll just respawn, but it will add a time penalty to how fast you're going around. And the idea with this is that it's then uploading your time onto a online leader graph, I guess is the best way to describe it, so that you can see where you're pitted up against with all of the other players who are playing and uploading. So are you at the peak of the curve, which is basically where everyone else is, or are you ahead of it or behind it? It doesn't necessarily matter if you fall off loads, so long as you get to the end eventually, and you will kind of be able to fudge it to the most degree if you're not particularly well skilled at being gentle. But I just fell in love with the game. I thought it was absolutely superb. The move controls handle really, really well. I have a slight space issue with where I have VR in with my living room, and so I have to put my PlayStation camera on top of the TV, and so where I was trying to I get a bit sucked into VR, so I'm squatted down trying to see where stuff goes, and then I'll kind of tip it round. If I'm trying to pull something around from underneath, sometimes my move controller will kind of go out of view, but it didn't seem to matter too much with this game because where you've got using two controllers and two hands, you can still kind of pat it round with the other one if you've kind of gone out of view slightly. So I found that really, really helpful. You could just do it with one controller as well, but I do recommend doing it with two because you'll want to hold the maze steady, particularly with those extreme levels where it's super, super intricate. My only comment or negative with this game is I wanted more levels, or even the ability to build custom levels. My god, that would be amazing, because what's here is absolutely superb and I can't really fault it in any particular way, but I just wanted more of it, and the ability to maybe send challenges to other people that I know that may have the game or something like that. But what is here is absolutely superb. It's a really good starter VR game, if that makes sense, because you're stationary in one place but you still get to experience doing something in VR that feels physical, without having to be blasted around, thrown yourself off a cliff. So yeah, 2 thumbs up. Super Amazeball. It's cheap. It's out now across all VR platforms, and it's one of those chill out thinky thonky puzzles as I call them. Written review will be over on higherplanegames.com at a later point. If you've got any comments or questions about the game, leave them below. Cheers for watching. Bye bye. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/higherplane network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share, or a pledge. Thanks for watching.